Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, no matter where in the world you might be. Thank you for making us part of your day. We have made it to the end of another week. The Highbury Squad coming at you with a Football Feast Friday. Get your knife and fork out. Here we go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, no matter where in the world you might be. Thanks for making us part of your day. Gosh, a little hot here, so the hair's going a little crazy. At ease, squaddies, at ease. Welcome to the show. The big man should be with us shortly. Not sure how happy he's going to be. He was covering the Nottingham Forest game. I was watching our Arsenal women spank Brighton, which was a delightful way to start the season. If you missed our show yesterday, it's still a good listen with myself, Demian, and G and Albert on our women in the season ahead and our predictions. So please do check that out. Beth Mead scoring in the 83rd minute for our beloved Maria, who passed away at 83 years old. That was pretty magical and a very cool moment. Let me say hello to all of you who are joining me a little later than scheduled. Thanks so much for being so understanding of the topsy-turvy schedule over the last 2 to 3 weeks, from my travels to some family commitments and life stuff that is going on. It's always good to see you guys, though. Good evening, Liz. Hello, Tammy. Christopher Kirk. What time do you call this? It's Friday night. Seriously, I can barely stay awake until 10 o'clock. Granted, I'll give you this. But it's Friday night, so I thought, you know what? Maybe we could give it a good old whirl. And with the Arsenal women playing tonight, I really did want to watch the game too. So hello, Trevor. Hello, Guna Vettel. Rancid. You never are rancid. You're always lovely. Lynn's in the house. CM's in the house. The whole fam jamily is in the house. Hello, Brian. Arnie, Amira, Taib's in the house. Good evening to each and every one of you. Right, today is Football Feast Friday. That also means that it's a bit freestyle. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. How's everyone doing life-wise? Talk to me about that. And as you know, let me know what part of the world you are in. And Super Kev should be joining us in a little bit here. We're going to talk about a few bits. So Football Feast Friday, if you didn't read the description in the show, you should know what's coming up, because you know I'm Greek and I love food. And I was going to call it Meze Friday, but I chose Football Feast just so everyone around the world understands what I'm talking about here. So on the menu tonight, today's specials, okay, on the menu this evening is Stingless Bees. We'll get to that. Big game this weekend. We have spicy Mikel nuggets. Aye. What's that about? You'll see. We have the Saliba 12-layer dip. Bet you can't wait for that. Tuck in, people. Tuck in. And then to top everything off our delicious meal, we have the velvet white cake. Hello. You want a little bit of whipped cream on that? Or would you like a little bit of ice cream? Or just as it comes? I'm delivering the velvet white cake. And then, of course, your drink pairings this evening. You can have a Tierney Tonic. You can have a sparkling Xhaka. Or you can settle for the Martinelli Mixer. It is totally up to you. And yes, it is a delicious show. Good evening, India. Good evening, the Big Apple. Good evening, Uganda. You want a chicken tikka masala? I could murder that right now. Humble pie? Hopefully this season, Liz, that will definitely happen. Good morning down under. Absolute baller is Mead. You are correct about that. Should have won in double digits, but you know what? We won So that is all that matters. The women are off to a great start. Super Kev was busy. He was on Sky Sports yesterday. He was on TalkSport Breakfast this morning, and he was doing Nottingham Forest tonight. And he is still determined to make it at some point during tonight's show. So, I only have soup for now, and it's beer. Beer soup. You can't go wrong with that. Let me just say, England has the best tikka masala. I had a really, really good Indian. Yeah. Sophie, you're a star. Would you dream things? I have a lot of time. Well, I don't have a lot of time, but I love trying to do things a little bit different. Lynn, it's a long season, so how can we keep things, creative and keep everyone on our toes? Good evening, Canada. Fish and chips. Yeah, what's everyone fancy tonight? Good evening. Scintillating Saliba. I tell you, my S words were off the charts, Capo TV, when I was thinking about Saliba. But I've got 12 layer dip for you tonight on him. Should we get cracking? 6 minutes in, and I've said nothing about nothing much. Why don't we start off with tomorrow's game against Brentford? For me, it's all about stopping this guy. And Mikel Arteta reminded the team on the All or Nothing episode. I think you all saw that one where he put Ivan Toney's tweet up that talked about having a nice kickabout with the boys tonight. Now, of course, he is riding on a high, this guy right now. He's got the England call up. Some would say he's a little arrogant. You can agree or disagree with that. He's definitely a really good footballer, a footballer that many Arsenal fans were intrigued by and thought that could make a difference to our club. Thank you, Taib. Thank you, Tammy. And thank you, Taib. It's going well. Thanks for asking. I do have my yellow and red cards at the ready. I'd love to give one to Ivan Toney on Sunday. That would be great, wouldn't it? So yeah, he's made it very clear and continually digs opposing teams out. But you know what? It's banter. It's all good fun. He's a really good player. He's earned his call up to the England squad. And if we're talking about form and players earning their rights and stripes to the England squad, then you would definitely argue that our boy was completely and utterly robbed. So we will get stuck into that bit a little bit later as well. But I'm sure you guys will be thrilled, absolutely thrilled to know that something is brewing in the background here. And there he is, Super Kevin Campbell. Welcome to the show. Oh, look, he's frozen in time. He looks angry. His Forest lost. White's not injured, actually, Tammy. Mikel Arteta said that his omission from the England team is on selection, not injury. So, put that. The king is here. Long live the king. He's had some technical issues this week. Look at him battling through, trying to get the ball, finish in the back of the net. You can hear me, but we can't hear him. Come on, Kev. Make it happen. One second. All right. It's been that kind of week. Kev's always working hard. I've still got my cough as well, by the way, you guys. It's actually in his house. Correct. So, what is this? Hyderabadi biryani. Is this something I do not know of? Oh, is that a food item I haven't tried? Am I missing out on something? 100 plus in live chat right now. Casey is on his AOL. I know. I do. It's been a long slog, Taib, I tell you. But I'm here and I've got my Perrier, sponsored by not. We should try and get that. Okay, so Brentford, how are you guys feeling about that? I'm feeling pretty confident. about that match. And as I said, I think if we stop Ivan Toney, I think we stop Brentford. He's been playing like a man possessed this season. And I think that, he's without question their danger man. Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Papa, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Squaddies, it's been a long day. I don't need to have this blinking computer. Anyway, at ease. How you doing, Soph?
Welcome to doing good, Kev. Welcome to the show. Great work on Sky Sports, and also loved listening to you with Natalie and Tony on Talksport Breakfast this morning. Smashing it.
Yeah, it was good. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, so Kev, I started talking about Brentford. I'm sorry about Forest, by the way.
Hey, listen, Forest have got to sort out. They've got to sort out that defense. You can't keep. That's the second game conceding 3 goals at home.
Yeah,
can't do that. So can't.
And
do
also,
it.
they concede in a very short space of time. Like they let in 3 goals in what, 5 or 6 minutes? That was
5, just over 5. You don't give yourself a chance. You give yourself a chance.
Yeah, no.
Well,
No, not the Rona. Didn't have the Rona, Munir, by the way. But Forest definitely have something right now in defence, and they have to fix it. There's no doubt about that. Otherwise, they'll be in trouble. Kev, is it a case also of maybe too many changes, too much, too quick? And they'll plateau at some point?
You could say that, Soph. Yeah, you could say that. But just like anything, you need to be consistent. For anyone to get any momentum and rhythm in the game, you need to be consistent. And there's been that many changes of personnel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's difficult, but
It,
I think they need more of a. If you got 7 or 8 players who are starters every week, then maybe you could change 2 or 3. But when you're changing 5, 6 a game,
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and Fulham really just kind of blitz them in those minutes. I think they'll come good. I still think they have a chance to survive. For sure, Kev.
It's still early days. Still early days. Yeah.
Okay, so Kev, I started talking about our big game tomorrow, and thank you to our friends at Zenith Coins. Please visit zenithcoins.com. HS20 is your code. Get 20% off. Get your friends, your Guna lovers, the coin for
Christmas
birthday.
is coming.
Christmas is coming. It's a really beautiful thing. Comes with a certificate of authenticity, as you guys know. And the Highbury Squad coin will be here just in time for Christmas as well. The official license partner of our beloved Arsenal Football Club. Super Kev, I started off just as you jumped in. It's Football Feast Friday, and I was talking about the game this weekend. And I said, if we can stop this guy who comes with an attitude, a confidence, a cockiness. Mikel Arteta put it up on the screen in the All or Nothing show we saw when he talked about having a nice kickabout with his friends around this time last year. We definitely punished them on the return match. Ivan Toney gets his call up to England, and he's definitely the man of the moment.
Much deserved as well.
Kev, if we stop him, do we win?
Well, he's one of them we have to stop. He's their most potent attacker, that's for sure. They don't function as smooth without him. But again, this is the challenge. We've got to deal with him. Mm-hmm. Now we've got 2 big, strong lads at the back there, and it's going to be a battle. And it's going to be a battle like they've not been in before. Obviously, Gabriel's played against him, I think, at the Emirates. But Saliba is he's going to be playing against a physical striker this this Sunday. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles himself. We believe he'll handle himself well. We do. But I wouldn't quite just say they're a one-man team, although he's their most potent striker, because they do have threats from all over. But Tony's the one who makes them tick.
Yeah,
double figures in goals and high assists tells you that he's their most important player.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely got talent on the flanks, and the midfield is pretty solid, Kev. And I think we saw what this team did to Manchester United, albeit a very different Manchester United to the one we played at Old Trafford. Neil says Brentford beat United, who beat us, so very concerned about it. Do you understand kind of where he's coming from on that front, Kev?
But they're different games. You got to take every game as 90 minutes or 90 plus minutes as an individual game. You could talk about this one beat that one and that one didn't beat this one, but it's going to come down to the day. We have to be better on the day than Brentford, and we have to be a lot more clinical. We've been showing some signs. Early doors, we've been clinical, but we've been showing you agree with me? That's good.
It's Vespa, by the way.
Yeah, we've been showing some signs that, we're not as clinical as we were. So,
also, I like GB's comment also talking about the duo up front. Bueno doesn't get the goals, but he always puts in. He's one of those grafters up front, Kev, that does a lot of the unsung hero work. I want to just dovetail on your point, because I think it's a really important one. We haven't been finishing our chances. It was evident in the United game. That's the last game that's left that taste in our mouth. Hopefully the team come back like all guns blazing. But do you also think that maybe the one area where we've shown so much strength last season and the beginning of this season, there's been some vulnerabilities at the back? You concerned about any of that, Kev?
Well, funnily enough, the vulnerabilities at the back early doors were at home, not away. And obviously, United exposed us for some, poor defending at times. All of those goals were avoidable. So we have to do better. I'd like to think, Mikel Arteta and the backroom staff have shown the team the goals and gone over it and just say, this can't happen. Just show little keys what you can do to stop that, because that's really our only vulnerability. So that really is our only vulnerability on the break. If we could stop the counterattacks, we can dominate a lot of football matches.
I wanted to put this one up from GB. Rico Henry, their left back, has started the season well. Both him and Tyreek Mitchell from Palace should have been in the England squad, is what GB's saying, not Chilwell and Luke Shaw, who don't play for their club. We're going to get to that eventually, because we're going to talk a little bit about Ben White with Kev. We haven't had the chance to really do that much this week. But Rico Henry, Kev, definitely someone who can cause some problems for us on the day.
Yeah, he's lively. He's lively. And he works up and down that left-hand side. He's quick. And he's got a good delivery with his left foot. And the system that they play, it suits him down to the ground. It really does. He's got the 3 centre-halves behind who are happy to cover if he's up the pitch. So that allows him to stay further up and press. So listen, it's going to be a tough game. So, people look at Brentford and think, we're just going to go there and roll them over. Last season told you that's not going to happen. And the way they've started this season tells you it's going to be a hell of a tough game. We need to bring our shooting boots. We definitely need to bring our shooting boots.
Kev, yeah, we do. And hopefully we'll right the wrongs that have happened in terms of shooting boots over the last couple of games. A few comments for you here before we move on to our next subject. Jacob, I believe this time around we'll have the right mentality at Brentford.
We need it, Jacob.
Ian says we're a different animal since the game last season. I have to agree with that completely. When you look at the side that lost to Brentford, Super Kev, last season, it's night and day to, the team. I actually felt bad for some of our new players who had to play alongside some of the dross that we've eventually gotten rid of. Would you agree with that one, Kev?
Oh God, 100%. My stock statement is, Soph, it's the players, right? Now, I trust these players this season now more than I did last season. Let's be honest. The first 3 games last season, they showed exactly what they are. They're good time players. When the going's going good, they turn up. When the chips are down, you can't trust most of them. So
exactly. Let's see. Rancid says football's a team game. Tony's definitely the main threat, but we play against Brentford, not Tony. Fair comment. Christopher is very excited to see this battle, Kev. Another good test for Saliba. And Amira says Ivan Tony will be full of confidence, but hopefully White will play with a point to prove this Sunday, especially against Tony. Why don't we shift gears to White a little bit? I have things in a different order, but because it's coming up a lot, obviously because, Tony was selected to England, a lot of people think that Al Benjamin was slighted. Mikel Arteta in his press conference made it clear that he was not chosen because of injury, Kev. It was due to selection. A lot of Arsenal fans starting to get behind him, which I like, in the fact that maybe he's been disrespected a little, being left out of a side where there's players not even playing for their teams, players that can't even get into a Manchester United team, Kev, that's second rate in Europa League. You and I have stood by Benjamin from day one. You have been raving about his performances this season, having to deputy at right back, which you think is a position that is his for the whole season if he wants it. Benjamin White, slighted, I think, for sure.
As an Arsenal fan, you could say that, but the England manager, no matter what he says, he's picking his favourite players because he's been in 2 tournaments with them most of the time. Look, he knows what Ben White can do. I think the problem Ben White has is he has Kyle Walker, who can play that right-sided centre-back as well as right-back, and Reece James, who can play that third centre-back or right wing-back. They're the ones he's really up against. Harry Maguire is always going to be your first choice. Always is. Eric Diaz come out of nowhere, and obviously the manager's going to have a look at him. You could say Ben White should be ahead of Eric Diaz, but listen, that's the manager's choice. But I'm just looking at the proximity of who's in the squad and who is right up against Ben White. I think it's Walker and Reece James for that right-hand side. And
so, Kev, you think he's seeing him as a right-handed option versus centre-back? Because even Connor Cody got in the team, and it's not like Everton are lighting fires right now in defence either.
Yeah, but he knows Cody. Again, he rates Cody. Cody's been in and around the squad. He's good in and around the squad. He's experienced, and he's a specialist at that. That middle centre back of a 3. He's a specialist at it. So, unfortunately for Ben White, he finds himself the odd man out. We don't like it. 100% we don't like it, Soph.
But do we?
Sorry?
But do we? From a selfish Arsenal fan perspective, do we like it? Do we like the fact that Gabriel, and Gabriel have not been selected by Brazil? Do we like the fact that Benjamin White is going to have a couple weeks off? Do we like, secretly, that, of course, we want them to flourish at international level, Kev, but from an Arsenal selfish point of view, it's a good thing for the club, no?
I don't know. For confidence, his confidence will be better going with England. Do you know what I mean? Because you're getting recognised. You're top of the league. You're playing in a position where you've done really well, and you get recognised by the England manager. There you go. That's great for your confidence. But all of a sudden now, Soph, the door's been shut on him. That could affect his confidence.
So, Kev, you've been in that situation where you felt like you should be starting for England. You should at least be part of the England team. When it's this close to a tournament, when we spoke last week, we felt like the Brazilian decision with definitely Jesus was one of, I know what he can do. I want to see what other options I have. But this close to a World Cup, just weeks away, is it a bad signal for even Jesus, Martinelli, Magalash, and Benjamin? As a player, like, what's your sense?
No. Ben White is a bad signal. That's for sure. Gabriel Magalash that's a bad signal for him. But Martinelli, I think Jesus is the top guy. He's going no matter what. He has to be injured for him not to go. Martinelli, I think, has played his way in, and his form has been really good. Again, the manager is looking at other players to see what they can do. Majority of the time, if it's a squad of 20, let's say it's a squad of 24, Soph, the manager will know 20. So there'll be really 4 spots. And it could be any one of 4 players who gets the look in.
Right.
I fear for Ben White, like I say, because right centre back, right of a free, he's going up against some really good players there. And I think Ben White has to keep playing out of his skin, because you know what, Sophie? You never know. One injury.
Well, that's how he ended up in the Euro squad, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Because of an injury to Trent. So
Ben White just has to concentrate and keep on going.
Yeah. I want to put some of these comments up for you, Kev, because a few of our squaddies are talking about what Southgate's mantra was when he first took the job. GB saying
he's going to say what everybody wants to hear to start. But you know as well as I do, squaddies, you know as well as I do, when it comes down to tournament football, he's going to pick the players who is tried and tested in his eyes. It's that simple. Yeah. And you know what? It's no point throwing your toys out the pram, because every England manager's done it. They don't have enough time with the players.
As a player though, Kev, does it not drive you mad? Like, if you are Benjamin White right now, let's just say you were let's say you're Sancho. How is Grealish getting ahead into this team over Sancho when Grealish really hasn't lit the England world on fire? You could, Saka's come in and done a phenomenal job and cemented his place for now. Totally think that, there's other new players who've come in and solidified their position. Ramsdale, our boy, number 2, as a player, does it not infuriate you to think, okay, I know you've played well for England, but you're not playing well now. You're not even getting selected by your club. And maybe you were playing well because you were playing regularly.
Yeah, but players know. Players know what the manager's going to do, Soph. So if you're going to get upset over that, what's the point in playing the game? You might as well just pack up. Because Harry Maguire, again, you're going to hear all the same narrative. All the same narrative. Harry Maguire hasn't let England down. You remember there was shout for Jordan Pickford not to be involved with the Euros or to be dropped. Raheem Sterling, who I thought was our best player at the Euros. Again, all of these players are tried and tested with the manager. So as the manager, he doesn't get long enough with him. He's going to go for his tried and tested guys. I'll tell you what's going to be interesting, though, Sophie. Here's the interesting part. If Harry Maguire doesn't start for Man United constantly now, moving forward, him being in the squad is going to cause problems.
It has
Massive
to.
problem.
I mean, even Calvin Phillips, how many balls has he kicked so far this season? I agree with you, Winston, on that one. I get it. Like, he has players he trusts.
Yep.
But, Kev, as a player, you've got to have match fitness. You always talk about this, like being in the moment, being match fit. You know, whether you're part of the squad, you come on for 20 minutes, you're starting. I think that personally, as an England fan, I don't like what he's doing. You take the hot hand into the tournament. You don't take less confident players into a tournament hoping that they're going to give you what they gave you in the past. I think it's wrong. Yeah. Thank God Bellingham's in the squad. At least he made it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Super Kev, Football Friday feast. How about we munch on this energy a little bit? Or this energy a little bit. Mr. Mikel Arteta, manager of the month. I don't want to hear about your curses, people. I don't want to hear about him breaking the curse. Bollocks to all of that. This is football. We just need to win games. And Super Kev, I think this is well deserved. You're not concerned about any curses or anything, are you? You're a logical man who just looks at things.
I'm not going to swear, so forget cursing. I'm not going to swear. Look, when Mikel Arteta won the Manager of the Month previously, some people were having a dig at him and saying, you know, what's all this about his backroom staff? You remember that, Soph? What's all this?
Me saying that? Why is he posing?
Yeah. Why is he posing with? Because it's he wants to involve everybody. You know,
I like
he
how
does.
You've made notes of things I've said to just bring them back every now and again.
No, but what I'm saying is, the fact he's won it again now and it's fine is the point. Whereas at the time, he's probably won it and there was still a little bit of uncertainty.
Yeah, the bravado of it all was a little premature.
But it's the same. But that's my point. It's the same here. He wants it to be a team effort. So, you know, again, it's good to see he's consistent. That's my point. The consistency of it. Not now, it's just me. Still the team. I like that.
Yeah, and of course, we've loved seeing these scenes of celebration from Mikel and his staff. I mean, this was the North London derby. We hope that this is going to be repeated in a couple of weeks, Kev.
Please.
I can't wait.
I wouldn't mind 4 of them, so 4. Give me 4 of those.
Just really good stuff. And, you know, I think one of the things that's amazing is that these all or nothing shows, these reality shows, whether it's the all or nothing, the football stuff, or Hard Knocks here with the NFL stuff on HBO, every fan kind of cringes and hopes that they don't get embarrassed and any of that stuff. I think he's come out of all of that and evolved from being the cone holder on The Apprentice and a lot of ridicule, but also a lot of solid questions from Arsenal fans who felt that he had some missteps. But getting to this point is, for him personally, I know it doesn't mean anything for our club because we want to win things. But as a manager in his own journey, Kev, and you've played for a lot of young and older managers, it's quite a moment, isn't it, to be recognised in that way?
It is to be recognised, as well as look who he's beating for these accolades. You know, he's beating some of the best managers around. Let's be honest. You know, Pep Guardiola, Klopp, and Conte, and he's beating them. That takes some going, Sophie. Obviously, the season is a long one. That we do know. The season is a long one. But, you know, you've got to give credit where credit's due. You've got to give it credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
He's improving us. He's improving us and improving us. And you know what? Nobody could see Partey and El Neni getting injured in the same week. Nobody could see that. So, that was a tough one. So at the end of the window, that maybe, we left ourselves a little bit short in a sense. But as I said, Sambi, I thought's done all right. And hopefully Thomas Partey's fit and ready to go on Sunday.
Definitely. And Amira, I totally do that. At the halftime, I visualize what he's saying and how he's saying it. And all I know he's saying something that I've been accused of being many times. He goes, let's be emotional. I love that. I love how emotional he is, which gets me to the second part, of course, which is Spicy Mikel. After the Zurich game, Kev, he wasn't happy. I like that. You can sense his sense of, I just want to get back into things, in these presses. The football stopped. You're on a trajectory. You're on a roll. You've got your plans set. Footballers, managers are creatures of habit. They like things done a certain way. They know the international break is coming up and it's going to just be another disruptor. Then you've got the World Cup. I think I like Spicy Mikel. I like how he doesn't give too much away with the injuries. And I also like how he's unafraid to kind of give his answers in those presses.
He's
sure.
a perfectionist, isn't he? That's one thing. I think that's one thing. That's one thing, especially from All or Nothing, you gather that he's a perfectionist. So he wants it done right and he wants it done properly. And you know what? George Graham was exactly the same. Perfectionist. You could win the game. I remember winning the game. We beat Sheffield United at Highbury. I think it was 5-2. And it was going into international break, actually. We're away with England straight after that. And he was there turning tables over and teacups and everything. The tea was going. Honestly, you would think we'd lost. But he's a perfectionist, so he didn't want to concede 2 goals.
Amazing.
That's the bottom line.
But that's what separates certain managers from others as well. I just wanted to put Don Juan's quote back up here. Not bad for an unlikable manager, Sophia. My mum only calls me Sophia when I'm in trouble, by the way. It's my christened name. Kev's not the only one who takes notes. Hey, can I just say I have quite a few on all of you lot when it comes to Xhaka and some other players. And maybe even some of you Wenger haters out there. I've got notes.
Listen, there's enough custard pie going around here. Trust me for Xhaka, because he's been unbelievable this season. He's been really good.
So we're gonna get onto that as well, Kev.
Okay.
You're listening to the Highbury Squad right here with the legend that is Super Kevin Campbell. Friday night, it's a football feast. Hit that like button. 230 plus of you in the house.
Then hit the like.
Many of you will probably be out having a rave on Friday. For those listening on replay, thank you. For those listening on our audio platforms, iTunes, Spotify, and Acast, thank you.
At 45 minutes, we need to know the likes, my dear.
Well done. There we go. I like that. Okay, so we've done Brentford v Arsenal. We'll remind you of our picks that we did earlier this week. At the end of the show, we've done Spicy Mikel Nuggets. Well deserved. The gaffer gets manager of the month and continues his own journey, silencing some of his critics, including a few folks on this show or who have appeared on this show. Just saying.
I'll tell you who's quiet. I'll tell you who's quiet. That Gunnar Russ. I'll tell you, he must be out in the garden.
Gunnar Russ and Potsy, they're a bit. Maybe they're pottering around together in the garden. Gunnar Russ is taking the pictures and Dan's doing the pottery.
Oh, jeez.
Amazing. Kev, seeing as we were talking about Xhaka on our football feast, our drink pairings tonight is Tierney Tonic, Sparkling Xhaka, and Martinelli Mixers. But I'd like to get onto this fella because, we touched on him loosely last week. Just wanted to get stuck into it a little bit again. with you tonight. I feel like we've reached a moment in the Xhaka story where all is forgiven. Do you feel that we're there because of how he's been playing and how he's been performing? And he's one of those players that maybe hasn't publicly, officially apologized to Arsenal fans, but his apology may have come on the pitch. And you often say, just don't talk, show me on the pitch.
Don't tell me, show me.
What's your take?
Look, he hasn't apologized, so there's no going around that. But the fact of the matter is, we're living together, aren't we? We're living together. We're supporting the team, and he's playing in the team. And the best thing to say, Soph, is Granit Xhaka has improved. He has got better. And maybe Zinchenko plays a huge part, a big part in him improving, because he then has license to get forward, because he knows that midfield duty, Zinchenko is there. There's no gaps there. And scoring goals and being in the box, opposition box, getting assists. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Sophie. I've never seen Xhaka in the box so much. You know, I've never seen him in the box so much. I questioned. He doesn't score. He doesn't assist. He'll score one a season, maybe. But he's been in the box. He's been a constant in the opposition box, causing problems. So, again, credit where credit's due. Hasn't said too much. He's let his football do the talking. And you know what? Us fans who were like, don't want Xhaka, this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. We still support the team, Soph.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever he plays, we're not just going to say, he was crap because he's on the pitch. No. We're going to say what we see. And Xhaka has been very good this season. He's improved.
I would argue that he's probably been one of our best players this season, and I don't think that's an overstatement. Alcarp says, yes, KC, we support him because he's an Arsenal player, nothing more, nothing less. Some people just want to have a love story that isn't there. He's not bad, but he's not great, but he fits this team. He fits this team, Kev, and it works for this team. And, you know, it's true, Johan, he's a real locker room leader. He's shown that. And good for him, says Arnie, for shutting up his mouth and showing up 110% in games. Everyone's loving a little bit of this that Jadale is talking about too. They feel like they're getting Switzerland's Xhaka, Kev. Further forward. Yeah. So for me, I feel like credit where it's due, and a little bit like, you know, I was very critical of Mikel Arteta, but I'm not going to criticize Mikel Arteta right now. He's top of the league, and we're seeing process evolve to progress. Same things with the people that crucified Xhaka. When you see him playing the way he is, you give him kudos, you support. You can say what you see, as Kev said, but in terms of right now, it's very difficult for people who are still flying the Arteta out flag. It's like, based on what? Right? People who want Xhaka out based on what? And let's be honest, Kev, saved us a few millions in the transfer market. I mean, I know we're going to have to address that at some point, but I think the Tielemans talk and everything kind of galvanized him to just like crank it up a notch.
Hey, and listen, there's nothing better than a bit of competition to get the juices flowing in a player.
Exactly.
Especially, and you know, when we played Leicester, you could see Xhaka wanted it a lot. You could see that.
I was loving it.
You could see.
Yeah. We did see Beckham waiting 12 hours to pay his risk. That was actually a very sweet moment. Didn't ask to be ushered ahead of the lines. You know, just kind of went in and did his thing. What, Sud? Oh, no, Sophie. What have I done now? Let me know. Don't like to be in trouble with the squaddies. Okay, so we've done the Stingless Bees. Number one on today's special and our Football Feast Friday menu, spicy Mikel nuggets. We've given you those. Good to see him biting back, doing his thing, not flinching in press conferences, and even playing the old PR spinning card as well. And we've
Tammy,
done Xhaka.
what's the likes? Tammy, what's the likes?
We're at that point, 45. Before we've got 2 more items on the menu and 1 extra dessert.
No,
I'm going to
no
shift.
extra dessert if there ain't the likes.
Actually, we've done the velvet. We've done the velvet white cake. We spoke about him already, so we've done that. So it leaves me with one of my favorite things I have on the menu, and it's that's my Saliba 12 dip. My Saliba 12 dip, Kev. And here's what I've got for you. All right, I'm so happy you're here. And I don't know how this started off as C words, but it just did, and it flowed from there. I think that he's become one of our most important players, if not our most important player. I think there's a connection with
important player.
Saliba at the back and Jesus at the front. I think they're equally as important. I dread to think what with Gabriel and Ben White, I know that we've got it there, but he just adds another layer. And I'm going to throw the 12 dip layers at you, and I want you to let me know if you think that I'm overly lauding Saliba at this point. But when I was putting my menu together and my 12 dip layer, I thought, my goodness, 100 likes for dessert. Thank you very much.
How many likes, Tammy? Where are you?
97.
And how many watching?
250.
That's rubbish. Come on. Squaddies. That's rubbish.
I mean, we know it's late on a Friday.
So this is why I rush home for. This is what I rush home and go through all the crap to get here. And 250 watching and 97 under a oneer.
It's not good enough.
It's rubbish. Sophie,
you've actually ruined my Saliba.
The squaddies should know. They should know better by now. Come on.
They should. Yeah.
Go on, Soph. Go on.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Kev. I'm scared of Saliba's contract situation. I know.
Don't be, no, man. Don't be.
People apologizing to you now. People hitting the like button.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. People just understanding what the reality is here. So my 12-layer Saliba dip.
Come on, 12-layer. Come on. Hit me with it. Go on.
Layer number one, composed. 2, classy. The composed and classy reminds me, I feel like it's a Rio Ferdinand, Paolo Maldini with a splash of Baresi as the mayonnaise kind of sandwich. Now, you guys can think I've gone off the ledge comparing him to those 3 players, but I'm sorry. This is my dip, and I'm sticking to it. Layer number 3, comfortable. Dude never sweats. I called Giroud GQ Giroud, but I'm telling you right now, this guy's GQ all the way through. Unbelievable. Number 4, calm. What a layer that is. Always seems just so calm on the ball. Nothing phases him. Even if he's sweating, you can't see it. It's absent sweat.
Sweat's on the inside.
Sweat's on the inside. Number 5, charismatic. Now, not necessarily his personality, but the way he plays. He has charisma. He's elegant. There's something really cool about watching him play. We're up to 120 now. I like it. And I don't know how I ended up with all C words, but then I challenged myself and I'm like, how many more can I come up with? Well, he's number 12. It's a 12-layer dip. Courageous. Unafraid. Puts himself in spots. Backs up his teammates. Courageous. 7, cunning. Something about him where you think, the Fulham goal, Kev. Very cunning. Where did that come from? He's got that in his locker room. I loved it. Want to see more of that. Curious. He's willing to play a ball that might look like a stretch for some players, but for him, he makes that happen. Curious. I like curious players. They don't put you in danger, but they're curious enough to make the pass and make it work. cautious as well with that curiosity. When he needs to, he's sensible, does the right thing, simple passes. Chill. Could he be more horizontal? Could he be cooler? The dude is just chill. Committed. I think since he's come to the Arsenal, after everything that's under the bridge now, I feel he's shown his commitment, and the icing on the commitment cake will be signing that new contract. And the last layer on the top, when you put in your nacho like that, confidence. Just eat a little bowl of Saliba confidence right there, Super Kev. My Saliba 12-layer dip.
I'll have some of that dip if you don't mind. I'll have some of that. Well done. Well, listen, I'll tell you what, I weren't expecting that, but that's a really, as Jean-René Shutu says, now that is a proper 12-layer dip.
Definitely.
That
Kev,
is,
are you confident about the contract situation?
Yeah. So if I'm confident he's going nowhere. I'm confident him, Xhaka, and Martinelli are going to sign their contracts. Very confident. Look, again, he was on loan and people losing their head. Look, he's starting for the Arsenal. And he's got a 12-layer dip named after him. And he's got a Mexican, and he's got a proper song. He's going nowhere, Soph. He's going
yeah, and other teams I was hearing, I think it was the Fulham fans tonight, copying the Saliba song. It was just a matter of time before it happened, of course.
Hey, listen, they could copy, but they're never the original.
Never the originals. That is quite the football feast. Get your questions in right now if you want with Kev. We've got a few extra minutes here. I did have a pairing. So, Kev, we've done Mikel, Spicy Mikel. We've done the Stingless Bees. We've done the 12-layer dip. We've done the velvet white cake. I did want to add a little bit extra here for you because I fancy this guy making an appearance at some point, and that's the Marquinhos hot mustard on the side. I think we've all kind of fallen in love with him very quickly. Of course, he played in Europa League. We haven't seen him tested at all in Premier League. We all want to protect Xhaka. He's going to the World Cup. What do you think the chances are? You did the predictions for me on Monday. Brentford, Liverpool, Leeds. Of course, City's been postponed.
It's all messed up.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
But what's your take on this fella, Kev? Because I haven't stopped thinking about him since that Europa League match, and I feel like kind of excited that there's an option now to rest Xhaka.
To rest him?
Yeah.
What are we resting him for?
Well,
I thought he got a rest in the Europa League.
I agree with you that the resting thing, everyone seems to think that Saka's exhausted and he needs a rest, you know. But I'm thinking, do you play him against Leeds? Do you play him? You play Xhaka against Liverpool. You play Xhaka against Spurs. Do you throw in Marquinhos against Leeds? I'm wondering because there's also been a little bubble this week about him maybe actually going on loan. And I'm like, why would we do that? We're not going to do that, are we, Kev?
Maybe. But if ever there's a loan going to go on, it's going to be in January. Because at the end of the day, Soph, it's all very well keeping a young player like this on the bench, but he's not developing. He's got the potential to develop quicker if he's starting week in, week out. A bit like the way Balogun is. Remember, we discussed Balogun for quite a bit last season, saying, you know, he needs the loan. And he done all right last season, but now he's a different player. That confidence is there. He's a different player. He's up there with the Mbappes and all that in France. So, you know, that just goes to show that these young men, they're talented. They've got incredible talent, but they need to play. If we want it to flourish for the Arsenal, these youngsters have to go and play. So, listen, he might not go on loan ending up because I think there's going to be maybe enough games where we can get some game time, because we obviously the cup games are going to come thick and fast in a bit. If we go deep into some of these, then there might definitely be opportunities for him to play. But we're not even, what is it? What are we, 6 games in the Premier League?
Mm-hmm.
I want
Lynn, this is a really interesting comment, because we've talked about how we love the fact that Saka is not and doesn't have the burden of the world on his shoulders anymore. And that's been taken off him by even Xhaka this season, but Jesus, Zinchenko, kind of just the nucleus of the squad. But does that take away from how he plays, Kev? You thought that he was really good against Man United. I thought in the first half he was poor and good in the second half. I thought that he didn't make the most out of exposing their left back, who was having a horror show. And I just think he should have crushed him to pieces and scored a couple of goals. That's where I want Saka to go to next.
Yeah,
I feel like...
Soph, you're saying that like he could, it just happens like that. It doesn't. It doesn't happen like that, unfortunately. This is a high level game, and the way Saka's form was previous to the Manchester United game, I thought Saka done really well in that game. But to crush Malacia, you get past him, then there's always going to be somebody else. To be fair, Man United got blocks in. They defended pretty well, considering we had some gilt-edged chances that the game could have been out of sight, but we didn't take our chances. So there are going to be times where, of course, Saka's not doing the business, but I thought that was a bit harsh to say he was poor in the first half. I really do. I think I say
that because the end product resulted in 0, and he dominated Malacia. He dominated that side of the pitch, and he just needs to be more clinical, more ruthless, and he needs to put his laces through the ball. It's always so pretty, or inside of the left foot, or just smash it. Just try and smash one.
He did score.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it was fortuitous, of course, but he was in the right place at the right time. He still scored.
He scored. So I think we all could be tarred with that brush of being wasteful.
Mm-hmm.
Against Man United, we were wasteful. We were wasteful with our chances, and many different players had opportunities, and we were wasteful against United. But we have to bring our shooting boots against Brentford, because I tell you what, if we don't take our chances, they're going to make life difficult for us.
Yeah,
real difficult.
No doubt about that. Okay, so before we get to some last minute questions for you, Kev, I did have a little Tierney Tonic as a pairing on my menu for this evening. We talked about him a little bit in terms of maybe how Arteta's trying to evolve him and shift him into that inverted role, dovetailing what he wants to do, especially if Zinchenko's not playing, not upsetting the Apple tactical cart, if you like. Against Brentford, you start Zinchenko. I think you made it clear even at the top of the week that you don't change anything against Brentford unless Partey's fit. He comes in for Sambi, same team.
Yeah, that was going to be the only. That was going to be the only change. That was going to be but I believe Zinchenko's got an injury, right? That's what I hear.
Slight injury, and also Mikel was being pretty coy about all of that, about all of our injuries, which I kind of like. I like the managers to be coy about all of that. But against this team, if Zinchenko doesn't go, you still feel confident that Tierney can come in and do a job?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. And what are you expecting what do you think so far? The last pairing was Martinelli. I had a Martinelli Mixer, Kev, in the house for this evening. A lot of fans think that he's improved since Gabby Jesus has come into the squad. Some fans think that he needs to lift his head up a little bit, takes too many touches, doesn't release the ball in time, misses certain opportunities. Again, maybe needs to be a little bit more ruthless. Are you happy with Martinelli's progression so far this season in terms of what you're seeing?
I am. I definitely am. I think he's getting the game time, and he's getting the consistent game time that we all wanted for a while. What we still got to take into consideration is he's still a very young player. He's a gifted player, no doubt, but he's still a very young player who is still learning his way. And yeah, there's going to be times where he could get his head up and don't. And, he's a dribbler. And that's what dribblers do sometimes. Dribblers get their head down and they want to beat people. But with experience, and we've seen Gabriel Jesus come in, it's helped him. I think it's helped Xhaka as well. It's helped those two on the outside.
Yeah.
That onus isn't always on them. They have somebody at the top end of the pitch who, I think sometimes you can get caught up just watching Jesus, how good he is. But I think these guys are going to progress very well this season. And I think Martinelli, what has he got? What's he got? 2-3 goals so far. He's looked sharp. He's looked dangerous. So long may it continue. We're going to need minimum 10 goals out of him, Soph.
Yeah, you made that very clear at the start of the season from him, from Xhaka, from Odegaard.
Odegaard's going to need 10 goals. And they have scored some goals. Obviously, Xhaka got off the mark at Man United. I'd like to see Jesus take over the game on Sunday.
I would love that too.
I'd love Martinelli and Xhaka to give him a couple of tap-ins.
Why not? Let's get the ball rolling.
He's working far too hard.
And it takes a while. And look, and we laud that, Kev, because it's definitely changed how we perform off the ball as a team. But there are moments where you want him to be here and he's there. And that becomes a bit of a pickle, doesn't it? In certain games.
It does, because at the end of the day, the focus, Gabriel Jesus' focus, 75% should be on getting the ball in the back of the net. 25%, if he can ferret and win balls back and get wide to help the team, great. But 75% should be concentrated on getting the ball, hurting the opposition. I know we're not at the level of a Man City yet where, Haaland doesn't get the touches, but he bangs them away, Soph.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what we need.
Right. And even though he doesn't get the touches, his movement creates havoc for defenses. So he's involved in the game. He may not touch the ball, but his movement affects the game in so many ways. And I think Jesus does a little bit even more than that. He touches the ball, his movement off the ball, we
need him to. We need him to. The
and
way
we do.
We play, we need him to. The way City play, they don't need Haaland to touch it until it goes.
No, they don't. They don't. And I what worries me is that we might miss out on opportunity. I saw that when I was at Old Trafford. Like, man, he needs to be in the box now, but instead he's here, Kev.
But nobody, you see, the problem is, Soph, you see the work he does, and he does some unbelievable work. But we need the team to be doing that work and getting the ball to Jesus in the box.
Exactly.
That's the hard one. And I am sure Mikel Arteta and his staff will be looking at all of that for sure.
And Christopher, Martinelli's work rate's amazing. Okay, let's get Kev out on some of these quick fire bits. Lynn says Kev had a totally different opinion on Ben White than Martin Keown. I was shocked at Martin's comments. I missed that, Kev. Was Martin not backing Benjamin as much?
I have no idea. I don't listen to Martin.
Okay. Henkeho thinks it's going to be 2-0. We'll get to that in just a second. Fulham 6th place, Super Kev.
They're 6th tonight. Listen, good win after going a goal down. They showed plenty of fight. But Nottingham Forest have got to sort their defence out, or the way the teams get stretched. It's not good. In the Premier League, you're going to get hurt.
Kev,
And they only done it for 5 minutes, or just over 5 minutes, Soph.
Was crazy.
Bang, 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 3 goals.
Ruthless finishing as well. Ruthless. Clinical.
And clinical. That's what you got to be.
That's what Kev wants this weekend.
Yeah.
This is a two-pronged one on Eddie. Is Eddie more of a natural finisher than Jesus? And then up here, Kev, there's another one from Alcarp that dovetails it. I really like Eddie, but would you say we're still a bit short on the forward front? So one asking if he's more clinical, and then that's the juxtaposition of how Arsenal fans feel about Eddie, I think.
Is Eddie more natural finisher? I don't think so, because Gabriel Jesus scores goals. Eddie's a good finisher. He is, but yet to be proven to do it year in, year out at the top level. This is what I've said it myself previously. Eddie, for me, is not the answer. I'd love him to prove me wrong, Soph.
Yeah,
I think he's improved his all-round game. For sure he has. But finishing wise, I don't know if he's the answer. I think Jesus, he's a good finisher, but he's such a good player that he wants to do other things. Yeah, there you go. Agreeing with me again. He wants to do other things, and sometimes we should say, play the width for the box.
You know what I liked about Eddie, Kev? The Aston Villa game in particular, where it got a little squeaky bum time unnecessarily in those last 10, 12 minutes.
We didn't take our chances again.
We didn't, but Eddie came on, and I tell you what he does do well. He has a very good knack for holding the ball up or frustrating the defender with just, I think he's got that lowest, like that lower sense. It might be a small play, but that lower sense of gravity type strength. And what I liked and what I saw was, oh, wow, he's actually going to help us close out this game. Not win this game, close out this game. That's where I think he brings more value than the goal scoring part, because I'm with you on that. I just don't think he's the answer, like long term. But I was impressed with what he did in that match.
He's improving as a player. He is improving as a player, that's for sure.
Playing with better players now.
But also, I think the confidence, signing his new contract, staying at Arsenal, I think that gives him a bit of confidence. He's obviously he's done his weights and strengthening in the summer.
Yeah,
he looks stronger.
Yeah,
and that makes a difference. Now, scored a good header from a great Marquinhos cross. Against Zurich. So we need Eddie. We need Eddie to be ever ready. Eddie, he's got to be ready whenever we need him. If he's coming off the bench, or if we're gonna chuck him in. We need him to be ready. And do you know what? So I think we're still gonna need 10 goals out of Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's going to be a long topsy-turvy season, and we need goals to come in from all sorts of spots. He did Universal Greek. I agree with this. When he came on, I felt very comfortable about closing out that game. Prior to that, I thought we were kind of losing our grip on it a little bit. Jesus had run like 100 miles. Martinelli the same. Everyone was looking a little bit gassed. Yeah. Mikel thinks he needs to be a bit more direct. Selfish in a good way, but I think he understands his role. I think that's the difference. Okay, let's round up this a little bit. Bobby Gunner says, big up you guys. This is the only channel where live chats are given importance. Thank you. That means the world to us, and it's very important to us. Kev, do you think the Man City postponement is a good thing? October looked a very tough month. Bit like the Tottenham game, Kev. Did we play it in January, or it doesn't matter when you play?
I don't like the postponements. Obviously, we have to postpone because we need to play our Europa League game. But do I think it's a good thing? No, I don't think it's a good thing. I'd much rather get the games and play Man City now. Tell you.
Yeah, I would rather play him.
Yeah.
I'd rather play him now. Keep that rolling. This one too. I just wanted to follow up Mike, and because he wanted to throw this in against Brentford, we need our most reliable defense with height against Tony. Tommy in at right back and Tierney at left back moves Zinchenko to the centre mid. Well, Zinchenko looks like he's not going to play. Kev, what do? You going to keep Benjamin at right back? You're going to play Gabriel, Saliba, and Tierney in the absence of Zinchenko, and of course Xhaka and Partey in midfield if he's fit. If not, Sambi. Correct?
Yeah. There's enough height at the back. I mean, Ben White's a centre half playing right back because he can play there. So it's fine. We'll be all right.
Demsek wants to know, how is it that Kieran Tierney is now the backup left back to Zinchenko? And why?
Easy. He's been injured. And Zinchenko's come in and changed the team. That's why he's the backup. Listen, this is how it goes. When you get your chance, Kieran Tierney's going to have to take it. If he's in possession of the shirt now, he's going to have to play out of his skin now, Soph.
That's why Tommy's not getting a game at right back.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah. This is what we've wanted for such a long time, you guys, to have these kinds of problems. Patrick, how many games this season will Arsenal be able to play with the best 11? Oh my gosh. If I knew the answer to that, I'd be a millionaire.
I don't know, Patrick.
I'd
but
be
you know
somewhat
what?
of a millionaire.
We want Arsenal to play with the best 11, but do you know what? The best 11 is going to find its feet, because is our best 11 with Tommy Arsu in? Some would say yes. Some would say no, because he's going to take him a little while to find his feet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ben White's been doing a great job there. Many weren't giving him the props to start with, but now, you know, he's not in the England squad. All of a sudden, we're hearing the Gooners start saying, why ain't Ben White in the England squad? Recognizing he's been good. So,
I like that, by the way, Kev. What a difference a year makes, right? What a difference a year makes.
Amazing. And do you know what, Soph? We got some wrongs to right.
Yeah, we do.
At that Brentford.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it was Rona up, but we were awful. We're a lot better than that. Let's go and give them a game. Let's go and beat them.
Agree. VW, Kev's answered this question a little bit, and we're going to get more stuck into this as we get closer to the January transfer window, of course. He's always, and he can answer for you again, but he's always felt like we both wanted Tammy Abraham at the club. Target man, kind of gives us second options.
An alternative. You know, we definitely need somebody with size, because, you know, if we ever get desperate, Xhaka could be crossing it. We've seen Marquinhos cross it. Martinelli could put it in there, and we've got somebody in the middle who can get on the end of it. At the moment, it's the land of the midgets.
It's true. Meanwhile, that's why when Kieran Tierney plays, Kev, it's like cross it, and I'm like, who's on the end of that? Anyone?
He's actually better sitting in that midfield role, because going down the line and crossing it in, we never get on the end of it, because we're not big enough.
It's crazy what Giroud's still doing in his career, to be honest with you. The most underappreciated Arsenal player of all time, in my opinion. We've done that list. You can find it on the channel, no doubt. Brandon, big up Soph and Super Kev. Love from South Africa. My auntie and uncle live in South Africa. My cousins. I'm due to go there, Kev. Kev looking like he can still play up front. I feel like we'll get top this season. My only concern is Thomas Partey is a problem. Lots of love there from South Africa. And Partey, Tammy's reminding Brandon that he's fit and ready to go. So
here's the funny thing, Soph. Zinchenko's had a couple of injuries. He's only just come. He's got a couple of injuries. What's going on? Do you know what I mean? We don't know. And you can't put your finger on it. Sometimes you just go to a different club and all of a sudden injuries hit you, where you've had really no injuries. Can't legislate for it, unfortunately. But
Has that ever happened to you, Kev, or seen teammates that's happened to?
yeah, it's happened to me now and again. I suffered a couple of injuries at Forest and a couple of injuries at Everton. But that you start thinking, do I do things differently or do I do things the same? So you start to do things a little bit different to try and protect yourself, and you get hurt again, and you think, no, just stick to what you do. And you believe you me, so players, coaches, physios, they go through this constant. What are we doing differently? Are we doing the same things as you said at the top of the show? We're creatures of habit, Soph. We're creatures of habit. I always got in. I trained first, trained with the team, trained after. Done that for probably 10 years. Sometimes you fly through, no problems. Other times you pick up niggles. And then people will say, is it the fact that you're doing the extra work? But I've done the extra work for 5 years. Do you understand what I mean? And it's kept me going. But the body the body actually isn't meant to be doing that much work. So it's gonna break down at times.
And Thomas Partey was playing in a totally different league. Okay, you guys, it's very different. Kev will tell you that. You can hear it from him, not me. Also, Zinchenko's played a lot of football with Ukraine as well. I know, he didn't start every game for Manchester City, but mentally, the toll that he's had to endure over the last few months has an effect on the body, fatigue. I mean, it's not like easy what he's had to see and live and breathe and go through. So, they're human too, Kev. You've been in those positions where life happens.
100%. 100%. And
as well as the physicality.
And as the mental side of it, I don't think fans, it's difficult for fans to actually know what it's like mentally, because there's a lot of factors that you have to take into consideration. But as a fan, you don't care. You don't care what the player's going through a lot of the time. Go out there and perform. But as you rightly mentioned, there's factors going in Ukraine for Zinchenko. There's family issues. There's niggles. Hardly ever is a player 100% fit.
Right.
Hardly ever. So there's always something you have to think about, have to worry about, have to mask, have to cover, have to get through. It's hard. It's hard being a pro.
In high pressured situations as well. There's no doubt about it. Is there, I wanted to lob this one to you real quick before 300 of you in live chat this fine Friday, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us. We got 170 likes, Kev. I think those numbers will be music to your ears. Is there any chance a player can overtrain?
No.
I mean, with weights and stuff, you can overlift or overdo. Is that even a thing, Kev?
No. Everything's precision at football clubs now. Everything is precision. If you hit the red zone, they're telling you to stop. There's no chance of overtraining anymore. But here's the problem, you see, Sophie. What happens if you hit the red zone in the game? You can't stop, can you? You've got to run.
The manager tells you to.
No, Soph.
No, so, I mean, by being subbed, that's the only way out.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to. If you're in the middle of a game and you hit the red zone, you're gonna have to get through it. Because what happens if 6 players hit the red zone in a game? It's an intense and physical battle.
Mm-hmm.
You only got 5 subs. So this is where the old mentality comes in, where don't want to hear about red zone. You've got to play the opposition. That's it. And it's me against my opponent, and it's us against them all over the pitch. And if I need a bit of help, I pull people round. But all this tactical and technical and all these stuff that these guys wear, and it tells you, oh, you've
kilometers
hit the red zone,
run and touches.
you've hit
and
the
this
red
and that.
zone.
Heat map. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you hit the red zone. Sophie, let me tell you something. When you're in the heat of the battle and you hit the red zone, you have to forget it, because you've got to battle the opposition. That's the bottom line.
Would you have been comfortable wearing that thing now, Kev?
I don't wear bras.
Thought I'd let you call it that.
Yeah, it's a bra. Look, do you remember there used to be the little band heart monitor?
Yeah.
We used to wear the heart monitor at times, but they just. I know things have changed now, and because it's a better fit and all that kind of thing with the bra. But
Danny, I've ignored a lot of your posts this evening. Yet he can't get into the team over, who is it? Højbjerg and someone else. And also,
that Bentancur fella.
How did you enjoy the Champions League game the other night? And how's Son doing? You're in here talking about our players not in form and stuff like that. But how's the prodigal son doing?
Oh, Daddy, why did you go there? You've been drop kicked.
Right, 1 hour, 22 minutes of pure magic here. God. Super Kev joining us spontaneously after, unfortunately, watching his Forest lose. But he's got other, what is it? Other, in the other
irons.
What's that saying? Irons in, not irons, sticks in the game.
Other irons in the fire.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you got. What you fancy Everton this weekend?
I fancy Everton to beat West Ham 2-1.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Everton have been playing all right, I'm telling you. And they're due a win.
Nice. All right. I love it. Okay, so just remind everyone of your
prediction.
Yeah, thanks. It's getting a little
I predicted 3-1 to Arsenal. I think you predicted 2-1, didn't you?
I did 2-1, yeah. So 2-1 from me, 3-1 from the legend that is Super Kev.
But I'll take a 1-0.
I'll take an ugly, let it come off the bra.
Well, I'll take an ugly 1-0, definitely.
Yep, I'll take an ugly 1-0 or a pretty 4-0, whatever you want, an own goal. Let's just win this game and not lose it. We got 1-0s, we got 2-1s. Gosh, Danny, who let you in? We got 2-1s, 2-0, 3-0. Kevin, are you going to Goodison this weekend, Kev? Is it at Goodison? Are you covering the game?
I'm covering the game, but I'm online.
So, okay. Yeah. All right, brilliant stuff. So if you are watching and a fan who watches international broadcasts, you'll see Kev on the Everton game.
And I'll be for anybody who's on radio tomorrow, 12 till 1:45 on Radio 5 Live. Yours truly will be on there tomorrow.
Love a little Radio 5 Live. Super Kev smashing it. Highbury Squad really busy, and you're doing a lot more stuff this season, Kev. It's wonderful to see. Keep smashing it and doing your thing.
And Sophie, I've got to tell the squaddies. I gets into Talk Sport today. Hi, how you doing? All I got was, isn't Sophie wonderful? I love it. Isn't Sophie so wonderful? Tony Cascarino was, I tell you what, you've not got a bigger fan. I'm telling you.
Oh, Tony, what a sweetheart.
You've not got a bigger fan. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Both of them were superb and speaking so highly of you, Sophie. So you keep up the great work as well.
Thank
Tell
you.
you.
I do like Natalie and Tony. They're very welcoming and supportive. And yeah, so then they love the HS as well. So it's very, very cool. No, you can't. You know who I've got coming on for the Derby preview? You'll love this, Danny. I've got Ricky Sachs and Anthony Costa coming on. Okay. So if you're nice, maybe I'll let you on for 2 minutes, but you're going to have to really suck up to the squaddies to make it happen. So between now and the North London Derby, you've got a lot of sucking up to do. You remember that scene in Pretty Woman? You know, where she goes shopping and they poo-poo her and then Richard Gere goes back with the old credit card and they're
rushing around her, offering her champagne. They're doing everything. Danny!
You're sucking up to the wrong person. Absolutely. So, Danny, get ready to suck up big time. Super Kev, that's all I've got. Be back after the game against Brentford on Sunday. Take us out, Super Kev. And well done to our Arsenal women getting off to a superb start against Brighton.
Oh, Neil, what a good result.
Yeah.
Squaddies, listen, I came back. I weren't happy with the likes. You rectified that. Arsenal play on Sunday. Let's hope they rectify that Manchester United defeat with 3 points at Brentford and exercise the ghost of last season. And you know what? Let's keep Sophie happy with a win, especially as she's doing the post-game show. Squaddies, tell your loved ones you love them because we love you. Hostess with the most is Sophie. Look after yourself. And squaddies, at ease. Squaddies.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
You got a -5, Kev. You should be really happy.